All right, welcome everybody. We are going to get started here in just a minute. My name's Jaynie. We'll be doing a flow 2 today, and I just posted the link to the Spotify playlist in the chat. If you'd like to listen along, I'll play mine here as well. Let me know if you at any point or anything like that. This is my first time doing a virtual teach, so we'll see how it goes. Welcome to have your video on, your video off at any time. It's up to you. All right, so I am going to start the playlist if you'd like to follow along in 3, 2, and 1, starting with deep meditation zone. We'll get started with our flow today here, lying in Shavasana, so everyone can start on their backs, laying on their mats. And once you're in Shavasana, just taking a few deep breaths just to center yourself and calm your mind. Taking a nice inhale through the nose and exhale, letting it out through the mouth. Laying on your back, letting your shoulder blades fan out against your yoga mat or your carpet, wherever you're practicing today. And just taking a few minutes to find that breath. Find your inhale and exhale. Letting the rest of your Wednesday just kind of wash away and be present here on your mat for the next 60 minutes. If you'd like to set an intention for class today, a reason why you came to your mat, or something you'd like to dedicate this class to, maybe it's something, someone, a goal of yours, just think of that now. And remember it throughout your practice today. This is why you're here on your mat. One more deep inhale through your nose and exhale, let it all out through your mouth. And bringing your feet to touch the mat, still laying on your back. We'll do some windshield wipers to warm up those hips so your hands can come to your belly or maybe out to it in a T. And just let your knees drop down to the left. And on your next inhale, bring them back up to center. And exhale, drop both knees down to the right. Just flowing with that breath, with that inhale and exhale. Just feeling that nice stretch along the side body. Do a few more. And then continuing to lay on your back here, lifting those feet off of your mat, creating a 90 degrees with your thighs and your shins. Nice straight line. Bring your hands to your thighs. And on an inhale, press into your thighs and press back into your hands with your legs. And exhale, grabbing those knees and giving yourself a nice big hug. Inhale, pressing out, opening up the chest. And exhale, hugging those knees in. Do about 2 more of these. Flexing or straightening the feet, however you'd like. 1 more. And exhale, give yourself a nice big hug. And bringing your feet back down to the mat, this time a little bit closer to your seat, walking them in just a little bit. We're going to do some dynamic bridges here. So on an inhale, pressing down through your feet, lifting your hips up, creating that nice straight line. And exhale, bringing yourself back down to the mat. Continue that a few more times on your own breath. Inhale, pressing up into your bridge. And exhale, coming back down. If you'd like to add a little bit of shoulder work in here, on your inhale, raise your arms up at the same time you raise your hips. And exhale, bringing everything back down. Inhale, raising up, pressing into the bottom of the feet. Exhale, back down. Do about one more time. This time, really engaging those glutes at the top of that bridge, squeezing, squeezing. And exhale, release back down. Bring your knees into your chest, give yourself a nice hug, and start to rock and roll on your back, gaining momentum, and then rock and roll forward up to tabletop, coming to face the front of your mat, creating a nice tabletop here, your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees, nice neutral spine. And we'll do some cat-cows. Inhale, dropping the belly, gazing forward, and exhale into your cat. Rounding the spine, tucking your chin. Inhale to cow. Exhale, rounding that spine. And continue to move through this cat-cow a few more times here, following that breath, that inhale and exhale. And work on evening the inhale and the exhale, making them the same length. About two more. And once you finish that second cycle through, coming back to your neutral tabletop and grounding down into the outsides of your palms on the pinky and the thumbs. Flip those toes over and hover the knees off the mat. Just be here for about 3 breaths. Our first real ab work of the day. Engage that core. Bring that navel into the back of the spine. One more breath. And release into high plank, straightening those legs out behind you, giving a nice stretch, reaching the heels for the back of your room. Holding here in this plank just for one more breath. And exhale, dropping down into a yogi push-up, and then releasing onto the mat. Inhale, coming up for cobra, just reaching those shoulders and chest forward. And exhale into puppy dog, keeping on those knees, but pressing back your upper body like down dog. Stretching out the shoulders. It's not quite child's pose where you're all the way back. You're up on your knees. Maybe you can walk your hands out a little bit here in puppy. Just taking a few more breaths. So really stretching out those arms. And on your next inhale, coming up into downward dog this time, full expression, straightening those legs. And inhale, looking forward, walking up to your hands this time. And coming into a nice ragdoll pose, walking those feet a little bit further apart, bending the knees, and letting your upper body hang. And here in ragdoll pose, maybe you're grabbing opposite elbows with your arms, and you're just letting the weight of that upper body stretch out the hamstrings, the legs. Shaking your head yes, shaking it no. Maybe swaying side to side or up and down. And then bringing your hands, reaching down for the mat, heel toe your feet together, and then rise up vertebrae by vertebrae to standing. Rolling the shoulders about 3 times back, 3 times forward. And then really anchoring down through your feet, feeling the roots of your feet reaching down into your mat. And inhale, raise those arms up above the head. And exhale, folding at the hips, forward fold. This time keeping those legs nice and straight, reaching for the mat, hinging at those hips. Be here for one more breath. And on your next inhale, come into a flat back position, gazing forward, hands rested on the shins or the knees. And exhale, coming back into your forward fold, planting your hands and stepping back for high plank. Taking one more breath here, holding this plank. Taking a nice big inhale and exhale, lowering down into that yogi push-up, keeping those elbows in nice and tight. Inhale to upward facing dog this time, keeping those thighs off the mat. And exhale into down dog. We'll be here in down dog for about 5 breaths. It's our first real down dog of the day, so walk it out, stretching those legs, maybe bending one knee and then the other. And then coming to stillness for one last breath here in down dog. And inhale, gazing forward at your hands, stepping all the way up, either one big step or baby steps. And inhale into your halfway lift, that flat back here. Exhale, melting down into your forward fold, maybe reaching a little bit further towards your shins. And inhale, rising up, bringing both arms above the head. And exhale, hands to heart center. Inhale, rising up, bringing those arms above your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale to your halfway lift. And exhale, planting those hands and stepping back for high plank. Be here for one breath, just holding this plank, feeling those ab muscles. On your next exhale, dropping down into your yogi push-up, keeping those elbows in tight by the rib cages. Inhale to your upward facing dog. And exhale, down dog. Be in this down dog again for about 5 breaths. This time, feel your weight. Make sure it's evenly distributed between your hands and your feet. You're not putting all that weight in your wrists or all that weight in your legs. Continuing to breathe here. And on your next inhale, raising that right leg high this time, just straight out behind you. And exhale, step it all the way through in between your hands. Dropping that left knee down to the mat, flipping that toe over on the left. And inhale, rising up. And exhale for crescent, cactusing those arms behind you, looking up. Inhale, raising those arms up high again. And exhale, planting them around that right foot, lifting that left leg off of the mat. And we'll step back into high plank again, just for 2 breaths here. Engaging that core. And on your next exhale, lowering down, yogi push-up, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, downward facing dog. We'll be here for about 5 more breaths again. This time really focusing on creating that straight line from the crown of your head to the root of your spine. Take one more nice deep breath here. And inhale, lift that left leg high this time. And exhale, step it all the way through, in between your hands at the top of the space. Drop that right knee down, flip that right toe over. And inhale, raising those arms up for crescent. And exhale, cactus the arms, looking up at the ceiling. Nice baby back bend here. Inhale, bring those arms up above, and exhale, framing the left foot. And then lifting that right leg off the mat and stepping back for plank. We'll hold here again for just about 2 breaths. And release through your chaturanga, lowering down slowly to the mat. Inhale for your upward facing dog, and exhale, downward facing dog. Taking just 3 breaths here. Making it your best down dog yet of today. And inhale, gazing at the top of your mat in between your hands. Step or jump up into that space. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, raising up, bringing those arms above the head one more time. And this time, exhale, bringing that left arm in front of you and swinging it all the way back. An open twist to the left. Keeping those hips front forward and stretching open. Your gaze is to the side in front of you, or if you'd like, back at your left hand. Nice little twist in the neck. One more breath here. And inhale, sweeping the arms back up, and exhale, sweeping that right arm back this time. Open twist to the right. Keeping those hips facing the front of your space. One more breath. And inhale, raising those arms up above, and exhale, sinking into a chair pose. Be here for just 2 breaths. One more. And inhale, rising up to one-legged Tadasana this time, lifting that left leg off the mat, and the right foot is rooted down into the mat. Arms above the head, shoulders away from the ears. Taking a nice deep breath here. And on your next inhale, moving that left leg behind you and stepping back into a nice high crescent. Straightening that left leg, keeping a right angle in that front right leg. Making sure you can still see your toes in the front of the right. We don't want to be too far over. Nice right angle. Stretching that left heel to the back of your space. And one more inhale. And exhale, airplane those arms behind you, palms facing the mat, squeezing those shoulder blades behind you. Keeping that left leg nice and straight. One more inhale. And exhale. On your next inhale, open up for star pose, bringing your arms either up out at an angle, like a nice big star, or they can be extended out straight if that feels better for you. Either way, flex those arms and feel the energy running from that torso all the way out to the fingertips and to the feet, pointing to the corners of your mat. One more breath here in star pose. And exhale, coming down into goddess, opening up, bending the knees, bringing hands to heart center, and taking a nice deep breath here. On your exhale, sinking a little bit lower, keeping that pelvis underneath you. If you feel yourself sticking out and your chest is raising forward, bring that chest back and bring that pelvis underneath you to support you here in this pose. Opening your feet a little bit wider to the side. One more breath here. And inhale, coming into warrior 2, facing that left foot parallel to the back of the mat, right foot facing forward, arms out extended, hips to the side of the room, facing the left, and gaze over those right fingertips, really setting up this warrior 2 here for you. Taking one more deep breath. And on your exhale, reaching forward, reach, reach, reach with those right fingertips coming into extended side angle. Bring that left arm either straight up or reaching for the front of your space. That right arm can be on that right thigh, not resting and sinking, opening up that rib cage on the left and the right, making both of them nice and long. Or that right arm can be behind you on the outside of that right shin. One more breath here. And on an inhale, reversing that warrior, bring that right arm straight up to the sky, left hand reaching down that left leg, keeping that right degree angle, and that right foot. And your gaze can be up at the fingertips, stretching them further up to the ceiling, or your gaze can be down at that left foot. One more breath here. And inhale, bringing both of those hands, cartwheeling them over to frame that right foot at the top of your space, bringing that left foot facing forward now, rooting down into the right foot, kicking up with the left for high splits, tenting those fingers. Be here for just 3 breaths, opening up that left hip, getting a nice big stretch, bringing those left toes high to the ceiling. One more breath. And releasing, bringing that left foot down to meet the right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, melting down into your mat, stretching out those legs. Inhale, rising up to one-legged Tadasana, this time grounding down into the left foot, bringing that right foot up 90 degrees, foot flexed out in front of you. Nice deep breath here, finding that inhale and that exhale. And on your next inhale, stepping back for high crescent. With control, bring that right foot to the back of your space. And setting up here, finding your space. Reaching those heels into the back of the room. One more deep inhale. And exhale, airplane those arms out behind you, squeezing those shoulder blades. And on your next inhale, opening up for star pose, this time facing the right. So inhale, opening up and reaching with all of your limbs out, not just being lazy here, really engaging those arms and those thighs, feeling all of the muscles here in star pose. On your next exhale, coming down into goddess, keeping that pelvis underneath you as a nice support. Nice, tall, long torso, reaching the crown of the head to your ceiling. A little swaying here is just fine. And on an inhale and exhale, maybe sinking a little bit deeper, bending at the knees. And inhale, coming to warrior 2, facing the front of your space again. This time that left leg's out in front. Right foot is parallel to the back of your mat. Setting up for warrior 2, extending those arms, gazing over those left fingertips, and hips are open to the right side. One more breath. And a nice inhale. And exhale, reaching forward for extended side angle, reaching with those left fingertips, and then bringing that right arm straight up or reaching towards the front of your space over your right ear. And again, that left arm can be rested on your left thigh or coming down to the outside of that left shin. If you feel really squashed when you do that, you feel like you're collapsing, take a nice inhale and reach that crown of the head like it's reaching for the same place those right fingertips are. One more breath here. And inhale, reversing your warrior. Bring that right arm down the back leg this time. Remember that gaze can be up at those left fingertips or down at the right foot. And inhale, both arms cartwheeling to frame the left foot this time at the front of your space. And rooting down into that left foot on your next inhale, kicking up with the right for half splits. Be here for 3 breaths. Releasing 2, forward fold in 2. And 1, dropping that right leg back down to meet the left. Inhale and exhale, melting into your forward fold. Inhale, rising up, one-legged Tadasana on the right again this time, lifting that left foot up at 90 degrees, rooting down into the right foot. We're going to move through the same sequence here a couple more times, just going a little bit faster, matching it with the breath. Nice big inhale and exhale. Inhale, stepping back for high crescent, and exhale right away, airplane those arms. Inhale, opening up to the left in your star pose, and exhale into goddess. On your next inhale, coming into your warrior 2, facing the front of the room, gazing over those right fingertips. And exhale, moving into extended side angle. Inhale, reversing that warrior, keeping that bend in that front knee. And exhale, cartwheel those hands around the right foot. On your next inhale, kicking up into half splits right away. We'll hold here again for 3 breaths. 1 more breath. And dropping that left foot down to meet the right. Inhale, halfway lift, straightening out that back. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising up, one-legged Tadasana on the left this time. Rooting down into that left foot, right foot off the mat. 1 breath here. And inhale, stepping that right foot all the way back. Exhale, airplane the arms. Inhale to star pose. Exhale for goddess. Inhale, warrior 2, front of your space. And reaching forward, exhaling into your extended side angle. Reaching forward. Inhale, reversing that warrior. And exhale, cartwheeling those hands down, turning those right feet. And inhale, kicking up for half splits. 3 breaths here. Maybe moving your hands a little bit closer to your left foot, playing with your balance here. 1 more breath. And exhale, bringing those feet to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising up to one-legged Tadasana. Last time here. That left foot off the mat. Inhale, stepping back, high crescent. Exhale, airplane those arms. Inhale for star pose. And exhale down into goddess, sinking a little bit deeper. Inhale, warrior 2, gazing at the front. Reach, reach, reach right away. Exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reversing that warrior, stretching up. And exhale, framing those feet at the front of your mat. And inhale, kicking up into your half splits. Holding here for just 1 breath. And exhale, bringing feet to touch. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, rising up, one-legged Tadasana on the right this time. Rooting down into that left foot. Inhale, crescent lunge. Exhale, airplane those arms. Inhale for star. And exhale, deep into goddess. Inhale, rocking into warrior 2. Reach, reach, reach. And exhale, extended side angle. Inhale, reversing your warrior. Exhale, cartwheel those hands, framing that left foot and kicking up for half splits. 1 breath here. And exhale, bringing your feet to touch. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back, reaching out. And exhale, forward fold. Taking a few breaths here in forward fold. Regaining that inhale and exhale. Anytime we're in a nice fold, our nervous system can collect itself. A nice calming posture. And inhale, rising up to Tadasana, bringing those arms above the head. And last time, I swear, one-legged Tadasana, root down into that right foot, bringing that left foot up. Doing something a little different here, so really bring that awareness to the right foot and how grounded it feels on your mat. Finding a gazing spot to look at to keep your balance. From here, opening up that left hip, bringing that left knee to the outside and the sole of your foot either coming to your shin or your inner thigh for tree. Your hands can stay up or come to heart center. Bringing them in closer to you will give you a little bit more balance. And you can always come here and move back to the arms out if you'd like. Having that foot be on the ankle, the shin, or the thigh, but avoiding that knee area. One more breath here in tree pose. And then releasing back to one-legged Tadasana in front of you, still floating that left foot, rooting down into the right, really feeling that balance. And from here, kicking that left foot behind you and bringing your hands down to the side this time. Grabbing the outside of the left ankle with the left hand. You can stay here today if this is a nice big stretch for you in the thighs. Or on your next inhale, kicking into your hands on the left with the left foot, kicking back into dancer. Bringing that right foot, right hand out in front of you, gazing at that unmoving spot, finding that spot to hold your balance. Bringing that left hip forward, right hip back, squaring up for the front, and really kicking back into that left hand. One more breath here, keeping your chest nice and tall. And exhale, releasing to one-legged Tadasana, bringing those arms above the hands one last time. And exhale, release, bringing your hands to heart center, feet down to the mat. If you need to do a little shake out of that right leg or that left, the right did a lot, holding you up during that. Now inhale, rising up, one-legged Tadasana on the opposite side this time, setting up for our balance on the left. Rooting down into that left foot. Taking a nice deep breath. And then opening up the right hip this time. Bringing that right knee out and bringing the sole of the foot to the shin, the ankle, or the thigh, avoiding that knee area once again. Maybe playing with your arms this time, a different position, growing those branches here in tree. Hearing your breath here, finding that unmoving gaze and finding stillness. And on your next inhale, coming back to one-legged Tadasana, floating that right foot out in front of you. Hands at heart center. And releasing those hands down to the side, kicking that right foot behind you. Grabbing the right ankle with the right foot on the outside of the foot. Left arm comes out straight in front of you. And inhale, kicking that right foot into your right hand, kicking back. Still keeping that chest nice and up. We don't want to come all the way down into an airplane. Dancer, you want to have that nice straight posture. Keeping that crown of the head reaching for the ceiling and that left arm reaching out, right arm reaching back. Squaring those hips, bringing that right hip forward, left hip back. Be here for 2 more breaths. And release to one-legged Tadasana at the front, bringing that right foot out in front of you. One last time, feeling all that strength in that left leg. And exhale, release, hands to heart center. Shaking out that left leg there, maybe the right. And feeling all that balance work we did. Rolling the shoulders 3 times back, 3 times forward. And inhale, raising those arms up, and exhale, opening up to the left side twist, bringing those left hands back, right arm forward, hips to the front of the space. And inhale, raising those arms both high again, and exhale, opening up to the right this time. Reaching that right arm back, left arm forward. And inhale, coming back to center again, and exhale, forward fold, hinging at those hips. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, coming back to high plank pose and holding here for just 2 breaths. Finding that core strength. And on your next exhale, lowering down through chaturanga, yogi push-up. Inhale, upward dog, and exhale, down dog. We'll be here for just about 3 breaths. Spreading those fingertips wide, rooting down to the outside of that pinky and thumb. Taking the weight out of the palms. And on your next inhale, gazing at the top of your space, step or jump up in between your hands and taking a slight bend in the knees. Inhale, rising up for chair pose. Just like in Goddess, keeping that pelvis underneath you, a nice straight spine. We don't want to stick out and bring our chest down. We want our chest up, pelvis underneath you. Just about 3 more breaths here. Maybe sinking a little bit deeper. And on your next exhale, bringing your hands to heart center and sinking nice and deep into your chair pose here. Inhale, lengthen that spine, and exhale, bringing that right elbow to the outside of the right thigh. Opening up that nice big inhale we took, opens up the rib cage, and exhale brings you some space to twist. Our nice little prayer twist here. 1 more breath. And you have the option to stay here and open your arms up, or if you'd like an extra challenge, root down into that left foot. Use that balance we did today. And lift the right foot about 1 inch off the mat and stepping back for a nice revolved twist here. Straightening that right heel to the back of your space and opening up further into this twist. 1 more breath here. And release, coming into a nice low lunge. Bringing those hands to frame that left foot. And walk that left foot a little bit into center if it's really far out. And dropping that right knee down behind you. Flipping those toes over and coming into crescent. Bringing those arms up high above you. And exhale, cactus, baby back bend, gazing up. Inhale, raising those arms. Exhale, framing them again in low lunge. Bringing that right foot up off the mat, that right knee. And inhale right away into your halfway lift, that nice straight back. Exhale, forward fold. And inhale, rising up into Tadasana. And exhale, sitting right back into our chair. We got the same twist on the other side here. Breathing in this chair pose for about 3 breaths. One more. And exhale deep in that chair pose, bringing those hands to heart center. And on your next inhale, lengthening your spine. And exhale, opening up to the right this time, bringing that left elbow to the outside of that right thigh. Checking those knees, making sure that left one didn't pop out further than the right. And we're welcome to stay here and open up those arms if you'd like. We're taking a nice balance here, rooting down into that right foot, lifting the left off the mat, and stepping back, straightening that left leg to the back of your space. And with an exhale, opening up further into that twist. One more breath here. Inhale and exhale, release to low lunge. Dropping that left knee down to the mat, flipping those toes over. Inhale, raising the arms up above the head. Exhale, baby back bend. Inhale, raising the arms up. And exhale, coming down, framing that right foot. Lifting the left off the mat. And coming up into your halfway lift at the top of your space, reaching the crown of the head forward. And exhale, forward fold. Taking a minute here, regaining that breath in this forward fold. And inhale, rising up. One last time, not the last time, but one more time to Tadasana. And exhale, open up the cactusing the arms, baby back bend, standing. Inhale, arms reaching for the ceiling again. And exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, planting those hands, stepping back for high plank and flowing through your vinyasa here, through your chaturanga, up dog, or just meeting in down dog today, if that's where you're at. Once in down dog, taking about 3 breaths here. One last breath. Inhale, raise that right leg high. And exhale, step it to the outside of the right hand this time, coming into a nice lizard pose here. All nice and warmed up from our class today. You can do some rolls back and forth in this lizard. And you can either stay here, arms extended, hands planted into the mat, or if you'd like to try coming down to your forearms, giving a nice big stretch here. Sometimes my hips are way too tight to do that one, and just here up in lizard is more than enough. 2 more breaths here. And heel toe that foot into center, dropping that left knee down, flipping that left feet over, and one last time coming up into crescent. Inhale those arms and exhale cactus, baby back bend, looking up at the ceiling. Inhale back up, exhale framing those right toes at the top of your space. Lifting that left knee off your mat and bringing that right foot back for high plank pose. Just one more breath here. Nice big inhale and exhale, lowering down through your chaturanga, flowing through your vinyasa, or meeting in down dog. About 3 more breaths in down dog here today. Inhale that left leg high and exhale, step it to the outside of the left hand, coming into lizard, maybe bringing that right foot back a little bit, stretching out here, taking some nice rolls with the knee, some back and forth on those toes, and coming down onto your forearms if you'd like here today. A nice big stretch for those hips. Keeping that right knee off the mat the entire time we do this. And if you're on your forearms, coming back, pressing up into your straight arms, palms on the mat. Heel toe that left foot in between your hands and dropping the right foot down, flipping those right toes over. Inhale for crescent and exhale, cactus those arms, gazing up at the ceiling. Inhale, raising those arms back up. Exhale, framing that left foot, flipping those right toes over and kicking back into high plank. Holding here for 3 breaths this time. One more breath. And lowering down through your chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog. And exhale, down dog. Taking some big breaths here in down dog. Feeling this pose. Be the last time we're in it today. And really finding stillness for one last breath. And dropping the knees, coming down to our tabletop position today. And just taking a few cat-cows here. Inhale, looking forward. Exhale, rounding the spine. Do one more. Inhale, gazing forward, dropping that belly. Exhale for cat. And from here, sitting back onto your feet and then dropping down to one side and bringing your feet out in front of you. And we're going to drop all the way back down to our backs, bringing those feet nice and close to our sits bones. Making sure that tailbone is on the mat and bringing those feet nice and close. Hands coming to the side this time, palms pressing down into the mat. We'll be coming up into our bridge pose here, so preparing for that, but instead of coming up and down like we did in the beginning of class, we'll be holding it this time. So on your next inhale, pressing down through your feet and raising those hips up, creating a nice straight line from your shoulders to those knees. Making sure those feet are parallel underneath those knees for you. We're not nice and wide open. Our knees aren't touching. They're coming straight down from our hips, a nice straight line. Using our shoulders and our feet as our support here. Keeping that gaze up, not moving that neck side to side, but keeping a steady gaze to the ceiling. Maybe raising up a little bit if you've lost a little height here. Engaging that core that's keeping you up and those glutes underneath you. Those legs are probably sore from all that balance we did today, so use that core to keep you up. One more breath here. And release, vertebrae by vertebrae, back down to the mat. Bringing one knee into the chest, a little roll, and then the other. And then we're moving in today to shoulder stand for our inversion. If you are on your period this week, I ask you not to do this pose and instead do legs up the wall, which is from here, your legs reach up straight, flexed feet, arms come out at a T, and you keep those legs nice and straight here. You can do this in the middle of a room, or you can get up against a wall, creating a nice 90-degree angle with the floor and the wall and your body. Either one is okay. If you are able to do shoulder stand today, we'll be moving into that now. So to do that, bending the knees, bending the legs at the knees. We'll have a little rock and roll motion. And on an inhale, pressing those hands down into the mat. Inhale, rocking up onto your shoulders, bringing those hands to your low back for support. And we're on our shoulders just like we were in bridge, keeping that gaze up forward. And that weight is completely in our shoulders, not our neck here. So you can see if I press a little bit too far, my voice gets a little crunched. I don't want that weight in my neck. I want it in my shoulders. And that's why those hands are underneath you, supporting you, keeping you up in shoulder stand. We'll be here for about 5 to 10 breaths. So quite a long time. You have the option if you'd like to move into plow pose. I have to come down because I'll hit something behind me if I do that. But from shoulder stand with plow pose, keeping those hands on your low back for support, bringing the feet behind your head, reaching for the ground behind you. And again, keeping that gaze straight up, that neck nice and long and not crunched. If your feet aren't touching the mat or the floor behind you and you're like, where is it? You can open up your feet a little bit, bringing them apart from one another, and you might find the floor there. Walking your feet further apart. From plow pose, engage that core, bringing your legs back up to shoulder stand, nice and straight, still holding that lower back, giving you some support with your hands. From shoulder stand here, releasing vertebrae by vertebrae, engaging the core, bringing those knees in and rolling down onto your mat. If you're in legs up the wall, bring those legs right down to the mat as well. And then walk those feet to the outsides of your mat and bring those knees together, touching at the middle of your mat for a nice constructive rest here. Bringing those hands to your heart or your belly. Chasing a nice little recover from that inversion. And from here, we're going to actually meet on our bellies. So rolling over and laying flat on our bellies. Bringing our hands down to our sides, feet together. And on your next inhale, raising your head and your chest and your arms airplaning out behind you, feeling that low back, really working to keep you up. It's a nice counter stretch to the plow and shoulder stand we did today. Taking a nice deep breath. And on your next inhale, raising those feet as well. If raising the feet puts too much pressure on the pelvis and that's a little uncomfortable, you can let those feet go back down to the mat. Holding here, all those limbs nice and stretched out, feeling the energy moving through the fingertips and the toes for about 2 more breaths here. Maybe raising up just a little bit higher. And exhale, dropping down to the mat. Bring your left cheek to the mat. Taking a few breaths. Switching over to that right cheek. And taking 2 breaths there. And then bringing your hands down to your rib cage, still on your belly. Inhale, pressing yourself up to cobra. Or maybe walking your hands out nice and straight for seal pose. I'm pretty sure it's seal, stretching that core. And then lowering back down to the mat and pressing up to a seated position. Meeting on our seat, bringing those feet out in front of us and rooting down through the sits bones. Legs nice and straight out in front of you, flexing those feet. Inhale, bringing that right leg in, bending at the knee, leaving about an inch or so in between your right foot and your left foot. Inhale, rolling those shoulders back, nice tall spine. And exhale, either hugging that knee, that bent knee, or coming to the outside of the knee with the elbow and coming into a nice twist here, using that right arm as a pillar behind you. With every inhale, lengthening the spine, and exhale, looking further into this twist. Gazing over that right shoulder maybe. One more breath. And inhale, returning that gaze forward and then bringing that torso with it. Keeping that right knee bent, opening it up, bringing it down to the mat. So we're creating a nice figure 4 with our legs. And here when I do this, my body has shifted. I'm now looking out this way. So take a nice inhale and shift over to that left leg again. Inhale, bringing those arms up above your head. And exhale, bending at the hips over that left leg, reaching for the left shins, the ankles, the toes. Once you have bent as far over as you think you can, then bringing the hands down to meet the leg. One more breath here. And inhale, rising up, bringing those legs out long again. Bringing the left leg in this time. Inhale, rolling those shoulders back. And exhale, opening up to the twist, grabbing that left knee this time. Left arm is behind you. Twisting over the left shoulder. One more breath. On your next inhale, returning your gaze forward first, then your torso. And then opening up that left knee into that figure 4, dropping it down to the mat. And it definitely does not have to touch the mat. Mine is pretty far away. Don't worry about that. Reorientating yourself over that right leg again. Inhale, reaching those arms high. And exhale, reach forward. And then on your exhale, dropping those hands where they are, the shins, ankles, maybe the toes. Taking a few breaths here. And rising that torso back up and coming all the way to your back this time. Inhale, bringing that right leg in, giving yourself a nice hug. And then guiding that right leg over to the left side of your body. Nice twist here, bringing the right arm out. And gazing towards those right fingers. And inhale, returning to center, using those abs one last time to bring you up. And then bringing that left knee into your chest this time, giving yourself a nice little hug. And guiding that left knee over to the right side of your body. Left arm goes out, long at a T. Gazing towards those left fingertips. And then coming back to center and taking any last movements you feel you need here today, whether that's happy baby, a nice little hug, some back rolls, before coming into your final resting pose, letting your limbs go long. And just listening to your breath. I encourage you to rest here in First Shavasana as long as you need today. Maybe set an alarm for 5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever you got, and just really let yourself rest. If you don't have the time for that tonight, it is 8:15. And when you're ready, slowly coming out of the pose, just awakening the limbs of your body and coming back to life. Thank you guys for practicing with me today. I appreciate the time you've taken to be here, and your body appreciates the time you took for it. Again, please rest in Shavasana as long as you'd like, or just take some nice, slow, subtle movements coming back into the activity of your day. Namaste. Thank you guys.